those there, and my light just died. So there's a different hold to the lights on there. You can see how the light goes. Another fully packed video. I got what's sold. I got a bunch of cards sold on eBay. Got the special topic, Lighthouse postcards. Everybody has seen those. And people are probably wondering, how well do they sell? I see them all the time. I think you'll like what I show you for the sell-through rate on that one. And then I have a poll. This came from a viewer. He asked what I thought, and I said, you know what, I'll schedule it out for a poll and see what other people think. When searching postcards at an antique store, do you like them in a box, basket? I put it out there, and we'll see what people like. Then at the end of the video, I always want to stick around for those, or viewer comments I pull, and I tell you my opinion and kind of ad-lib a little bit about it. So we got 3 comments at the end of the video too. And again, at the end of the video, or bottom of the video, there's categories. You can jump around all you want. How I do the videos, these weekly videos, is you have like a what's sold, special topic, a poll or some other data that I'm tracking, and then the viewer comments at the end. And you can jump around. It's like 4 videos in one. So instead of doing 4 videos and edit them, I just do one long video. With the cards that sold, I just had like 2 days, hardly any sales, and then all of a sudden the floodgates come on, and then it stops again. Normal eBay. Don't fret if you don't have a lot of sales in a couple days or one day. It has always, by the end of the month, come out with the same amount of money or more. It always works out. So don't fret if you don't get sales for a couple days. You didn't do anything wrong. They're probably doing something with the website, or people are out doing things, weather's nice, things you can't control. So just one day isn't going to hurt it. You want to look for a trend, and I look for like 3 months, 6 months, and out to the year. I try to work toward the end of the month. How am I doing for the month? And halfway through the month is when I really look at it. And if things are slow, I might have to do a sale or adjust a few things. But I don't make major changes just because I have one bad month. I wait for 3 months and see the trend and what's going on. But what's sold here, just a bunch of cards, a couple multi-order cards too. The first card, let me get these organized here. The first card is Winter Wonderland, top of Mount Washington. Just a chrome card, and that sold for $4.55. Yep, $4.55. Next one is, I don't know what the Lawrence Hall and Colgate Memorial. When I read Colgate, I think of toothpaste. That's what it is right there. I guess that's the memorial for Colgate. It's a posted 1964 chrome card, Colgate Memorial. Then I sold a ship, $4.55 on there. And that Colgate one, that sold for $5.08. But the ship sold for $4.55 unposted. It's a publisher card, not a printed one from the club. This is one they bought, already made. And that was the USS Delagreen. Personally, I don't remember selling too many of those. This is one of those prints. This is the USS Hartley, and this sold for $4.09 on there. Take my little sticker off. That sold for $4.09. It's just one of those prints. I sell the heck out of those things. Every day, every week I sell those boat prints. Next one is sold for $4.09. This is the aerial view of Northern Ocean City, Maryland. Nice beach view there. And you're saying, well, what's the $4.09? It's because I sent a 10% offer or a 5% offer. It comes off the $4.65, $4.55 price on there to move cards. So when you send offers, you get these weird combination of numbers. Next one sold for $4.09. This is a vertical card of the USS Bainbridge. Nice looking card. It's one of those prints. Next is another ship, $4.55 is what this sold for. USS Houston. It's a publisher card, not one they printed. They purchased this, the club, and that sold $4.55. Now everyone probably remembers that Santa that I sold last year, the Uncle Sam Santa, for $1,900. That was my biggest postcard sale ever. And in that album there was another Hold to the Light postcard, and this is one sold for $15.88. And you can see if I can get this right, you can see how the water and what else is on there. You got the moon at the top, you got those there, and my light just died. So there's different Hold to the Lights on there. You can see how the light goes through the card. These are called Hold to the Light. They're like 2-ply. The top layer has die cuts in it, and then the second ply, when you shine a light through them, the light comes through. You'll see them called HTL, Hold to the Light. This sold for $15.88. It didn't go as much as the Santa because there's some damage on the bottom and certain things like this, and I think I made an offer to it. But you want to look for the Hold to the Light. They demand a little bit more money, and I have a video on Hold to the Light that you want to check out, because now they're hard sometimes to find in a box if you're going pretty quick, because if you just look at this card, it looks like a sailboat, but you got to look closer for the die cuts. A lot of times I got to run my fingers on them, and I do miss them. I think I've missed more than I know. So you want to be careful with the Hold to the Lights. A lot of people don't know what they are, especially at the antique booths or big lots is where you can miss those. Next one is a map card, $4.65 this sold for. California map card. Not a real good postcard back, but it does have a stamp box on there, but not all the lines and stuff. But $4.65. Next one is a big order of 8 cards. These are called beaded postcards. I got these from the Mary Martin auction, and what it is they put a bunch of lacquer on the card, and they put these like mica beads on there. It's like bigger glitter. You don't want to run these through the scanner, because it could damage the scanner. I think I did run them through my little 60W, Epson 60W, because that's a sacrificial thing, and it handles the cardstock better, but I'm not worried too much about that scanner. But this one is the first one, and the beads are right down at the bottom here. It does have a little tear in the corner. The second one they bought of the beaded cards is just a greeting card, and this is loaded with beads all on there. You can hear that on there. And this is an embossed beaded card. About the only time I sell greeting cards. Another one, this is Good Luck and Many Happy Returns. Very heavily beaded up there, on there. And it's posted. It doesn't say when. Then a Thanksgiving card. Another one I don't sell a lot of. All the turkeys are embossed, but around the edge has got the beads on there. So that's another beaded card. So they're called beaded postcards. That's what I call them. This is a real heavy cardstock. This is like a 2-ply card. It's got 2 plies, real heavy, like a double, triple thick card. It's got some kind of thread or cloth and a ribbon around it, and then the inside is beaded, real heavily beaded. So that one's sold. Now they don't sell for a lot, but they are a novelty that people will buy. Like this person bought 8 of them. Basically this paid twice, basically paid for a lot and more. And this one is Hearty Good Wishes, and this has got a nice little crease on the side there, which I called out. That's all beaded up there. Next one is birthday greetings. Another one I don't sell a lot of. All the little flowers down here are beaded. Up here they're just embossed, but down here they're beaded. And that is embossed card on there. Here's another real heavily beaded. It's got a lot of weight to it from the beads and the lacquer. This one is just birthday greetings. Another beaded postcard and on there. So all 8 of those cards sold to one person, and since they have the beads and they're heavier, they'll probably go in a little box, and I'll wrap it up real nice for them. $35.52 for 8 cards. I'll take that all day long for stuff like that when I pay less than 30 cents for a card. Next one is this one sold for $4.55. USS General A.E. Addison, AP 111. Just another one of those prints. Boats paid the bills. This is a reprint or something, and it sold for $4.09. This is the Little Norway, Blue Mounds, Wisconsin. It's like a little house dug into the ground a little bit. Unposted chrome card, $4.09. This person, I put this card up. I forgot what I had it up at, but he made an offer. He just, I don't have best offer and stuff like that on. So people will send me offers. They're pretty legitimate. And this guy offered $9 is what this card sold for. He offered $9 for this card. It's Hotel Huron. I think I had it up to like $12 to $13, but he offered $9. Yeah. And I sent the email to him and told him that thank you. I had changed the listing. I couldn't send him another offer because eBay said he had too many offers. So I just went and changed the listing, sent him a message. Hey, I couldn't do it because of this, but I changed the listing price to $9, but everybody can see it. So go, it'd be up to your benefit to go get it as soon as possible if you still want it. And it sold for $9. Not too bad. I don't get a lot of those. They usually pay full price or from the offers from me. This is Bird's Eye View of Troy, New York. Sold for $4.19. Just a linen card of a skyline, Bird's Eye View. I always make sure I get Bird's Eye View, aerial view, and the title and stuff. Some people look for those. And this was posted in 1947. They wrote a lot of stuff on there. But that Troy, New York. Next is another ship. $4.45. This one sold for USS Orlek, DD-886. Another publisher card, one that they bought. Then I had another multi-order. Someone bought 4 cards. Let me see if I can get this organized here. This is the Gerber Baby Food Plant, Fremont, Michigan. Look at the Gerber Baby. Gerber plant. Just an unposted chrome card. Cotton Time in Dixie. Got a nice blow up thing there. So it's cotton bowls or whatever. Dixie chrome card. Then they bought the Fountain, Washington Boulevard, Detroit, Michigan. I put up a bunch of Detroit, Michigans cards. This is a divided back. It's on that good card stock. Just a fountain on there. And then we have the Fort Wayne Military Museum, Detroit, Michigan. Another Detroit. So I'm glad I'm getting those. I bought a whole lot of them from the Mary Martin auction of Detroit, unposted chrome card. All 4 of these cards sold for $16.58. So multiple orders, they got the 15% volume discount. They bought 3 or more, and on there. So if you don't have volume discounts, check out my video here, or you can send me a message to my email, contact@SMPostcards.com, with any questions about volume discounts or whatever, and I'll reply to when I see it. This is the USS Clamamore. That's the name right there. SS-340, it's a submarine. SS-343. I don't know how they do these numbers. I'm not a military guy, but I usually see the submarines have like the SBN or something, SS on there, and other ships are a little different, but the submarines are pretty cool. This is one of those prints, and that sold for $4.55. So altogether I had 28 postcards sold on eBay. That's basically what I sell on now. Etsy's, I got about 30 cards left to expire on Etsy, and then I'll be done with that. I just got to pull another 1,700 cards out of the boxes on there, and that should be about, I thought I'd be done by the end of February, but it'd probably be the first 2 weeks of March I'll have them all pulled. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to take them out of my inventory and get them out of the boxes, because I'm going to relist a lot of them. There's a lot of ships in there too, so I want to put those back where they belong. And it's not a priority because I got so much other stuff to do, but I just want to get them out of the boxes, and it'll free up some space, because why leave 3,000, 4,000 cards in the boxes that'll just sit there forever? So it does take a little bit of time, because the active expired cards on Etsy, there's no way to really sort. So I just go on a spreadsheet and I put all the SKU numbers, and then I sort. I do like 400 at a time. And once I pull them, they're in order per box. I just walk down. It takes about a half hour to get 400 or 500 cards out. And then I'll come over and I delete them out of Etsy. And then at the end, I'll have some cards there. It's kind of interesting. I found some cards that are listed on Etsy that I don't have anymore. So those will show up at the end, and I'll see what my percentage is. It's a little bit more than I thought. I don't usually have that problem on eBay on there. But 28 cards, $138.65. I'll take that. And like I said, sales are just up and down. You got to ride the wave. If you have a couple bad days, don't worry about it. Just do something else. And when you have real good days, put some money away for the bad days. And that's what I do. I try to put money away. Even though I spent a lot of money on inventory in the last year, this year I need to build those sludge funds back up. My funds, my buckets back up. So I'm not going to be buying a lot this year as I used to, because I don't need to. I fixed my inventory problem. I got a lot of good cards. I got some bad cards that I'll lot up for the flea market, but a lot of cards, so I don't have to do that inventory rush this year. But put some money away for the slower times. You know, I have my expenses for the whole year put away. I got my taxes for the year into next year already. I'm ahead of the game. So if something happens and I can't do something for 3 to 4 months, I'm fine. But it took a long time to get there. You just got to do what you can do. But I wouldn't fret about one day. I got this postcard here. Before I get into the special topic, I can't find any comps on it. Some people call them penny saver and stuff like this, but this has been on my desk for a little while, and I kept wanting to ask in the video if anybody's seen this card, but these are the things that I come across in lots. This is a 25-cent for 9 months of the Country Gentleman magazine. It's a vintage magazine, and if you notice there, it just says exactly what I said, and it has 25 cents there, and it says RFD. If you live on an RFD route, be sure to give the number. So I know it's a little older, and what they do back in the day is you put a quarter under the flap and you glue this and you lick it and put it back down, and you send them a quarter and they give you 9 months. I've never really seen one like this. On the back here, it doesn't have any stamp box or anything like that on there, but that was a pretty neat card. When I do the searches, I get a lot of Country Gentleman magazines, but I don't get a lot of this. So if anybody's seen that, let me know. It's just been sitting on my desk. I don't think it's a $1,000 postcard, but it just sits there. A lot of people say they can't find inventory, and I still question that on there. The inventory's out there, unless you live out in the woods or somewhere, but some people do have problems, legitimate problems getting inventory. But I'm not looking for inventory right now because I'm just in and updated with it, which is a good feeling for a while. And I went out to a flea market. I had to pay my reserve spot for the year. Me and my father are going to sell it. He wants to go heavy again this year because he's got a lot of stuff. I said, okay, we'll do it again. We were going to slow down a little bit, not reserve this year, but went out there. It's $90 I pay for the year. We have a spot. You can sell on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays they charge you $15 to sell. Sundays they charge me $20 to sell. Now the reserving the spot says I have to be in by 7. No one else can get my spot. But after 7, if I'm not there, anybody can get in there. Also, if you get there and you don't have a reserved spot, you have to wait till 7, and sometimes a line of 20, 30 cards there, and it's first come, first serve pretty much. So I like to reserve. It's kind of more of a convenience fee for us, the $90, than it is anything else. And we just pull it. We're kind of off the beaten path a little bit, but people know where we're at. And when we leave, we just unhook this rope and we can drive straight out, so I don't have to back the trailer up or whatever. And that's why we do that. Well, while I was out there, I met one of the friends I know. He used to work for me when I ran a restaurant in town here. I've known him for 30 years. He runs a brick company in town. He does all the bricks on the houses and stuff. But he came up and he said, we started talking and stuff, shooting the breeze. And he said, I got some postcards. You told me about postcards in my trucks. We walked out, pulls out this bag out of the back of his truck, and he gave me a handful of postcards, just different chrome cards. He got them at some garage sale, or someone gave it to him. Here's a nice scene on there. So I got probably 40 cards here, so that's about $160 if I sell them for $5 a piece or something, $4 a piece. But just a bunch of postcards. So people will just come up and give you. If you let people know what you do, people will find them and they just give them to you, or you get them for a really cheap price. So I have a little baggie of postcards. I'll put them in the box and I'll get to them one day on there. But I thanked them for it, and I told them, if you see me driving a Porsche, you know I found the golden goose on there. But that's how you find inventory out there. Is I got a message from someone. They were really upset with people trying to tell them how to pack their stuff. And I didn't understand what they're talking, and they sent me a message, and they gave me an attachment that showed that these people are telling them how to pack their postcards when they order, and it just totally throws them off. And I'm saying, well, don't sweat the little things. But this is what he's talking about on here. I went through all my solds in the last 90 days, and here are some of the messages. So you get this one, buyer's note. This is an unbelievable find. This photo is taken from my property. Buyer's note, thank you. Buyer's note, thank you. I appreciate you. Buyer's note, thank you. Buyer's note, pack well. These are the ones that get people all in a frenzy. Buyer's note, please pack securely. This one I couldn't do a cut and paste. I had to put it in a blue box because it was just so long. Buyer's note, greetings and thank you for your offer. I look forward to receiving this postcard and appreciate it being protected from damaged water during shipment. I will let you know when it is received and update your feedback then as well. Again, thank you. Another one, thanks for the prompt response. Please leave feedback. I'll do the same for you. Thank you. Careful, stiff, waterproof wrapping. Appreciated. And then this is probably the one that would get people going for sure. Buyer's note. And these are the things that are, when they buy, they put it in the order. Hello from beautiful, friendly Canada. Happy to buy from you. I am compiling a vintage gift pack for a family member who grew up in Superior, Wisconsin. If you can kindly package this with a small piece of cardboard, I will be most appreciative, as I have sadly had items like this arrive damaged. Please tape all outer edges of the envelope. He's telling me how I should pack this. And mark, do not bend on both sides. Your extra care is greatly appreciated. We'll leave 5-star feedback on day of arrival. Cheers. So a lot of people get totally crazy when people leave messages like this. And they ask me, and the message that I got from the person said, how do you deal with this? I don't. They can sit there and tell me how to pack everything in the world. I am not going to sit there and put cardboard in an envelope and have a non-machinable going to Canada and paying the extra money. They didn't buy that type of shipping. I ship in one of these envelopes with a sleeve, and I put the label on the front and stamp the back. This is what you get. I don't care what they put in here or what they say, they're getting this. Unless they pay for first class or priority, and stuff like that. So don't get upset when people try to tell you to pack. The reason a lot of people do this, because if you noticed in the messages, they've had problems with past shipments. That's not my problem. That's your other sellers. They're trying to make sure it doesn't happen to me. They're just saying, hey, don't ship it that way, which is fine, but I don't get all crazy about this. People will ship in those regular flat envelopes, those long A10 envelopes, whatever, no protection at all, and just put it in the mail. Those are your dollar auction people. They'll just sit there and put a stamp on a label and send it out. And those longer ones, the post guy probably bends them to get in the mailbox. These are nice and small. They'll fit mostly in any slot. And I do not put do not bend stickers on there. I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to do all that. A lot of that stuff they don't even look at. So if you get those messages, don't let them bother you. If you pack well and you're confident in your shipping and packing, don't worry about it. I'm not going to put a piece of cardboard in here just because he asked for it. That envelope is 250 GSM. It's more than adequate. It's a rigid photo mailer. So if you see that, don't sweat the little things is what I'm trying to get here. Don't let these things like this, they're not attacking you. They're just saying, I had a problem. I just want to make sure you do it right. It's just a little shot over the bow, but don't let stuff like that get to you. It's not a personal attack. It's a transaction. Don't get it personal. Just make it there. Brought that up because I got that message from the person, and that person was pretty well livid. I would like to share the email, but I won't. on there because it was personally sent to me. But they were just livid, and I'm sitting there, move on, put it in what we do. He sells them with the same envelopes. I said, just move on, don't worry about it, just put it in the envelope and ship. Don't sweat the little things, it'll get better. And one of the videos before this, I talked about the newsletter. And right when I was putting this video together, guess what came in? I have another buyer's account, and I have it saved to my store so I can see the newsletters and stuff that come from my postcard store. And I wanted to share with you what my newsletter from eBay looks like. There's a video out here that I walk through on my computer to show you how I have it set up, so you want to check that out. Is it going to increase your sales 1,000 times? No, but it's another option that eBay gives you that you want to take full advantage of. And this is what the newsletter that I have set up in eBay. You go to Store, Newsletter at the top of your Seller Hub. You'll see what I mean and watch that video. But here's what it looks like when I got it in email. I had to break it up in two left and right things. So this is one email straight down, but I cut it in half to show on the screen. So if you notice at the top there, it says SMPostcards. It tells the followers the feedback. Yeah, I'm carrying a negative. I've been carrying that puppy for about 11 months now. Some guy didn't like a card and said whatever. Every car is going to have a dent in it. So that's another thing. Don't worry about little feedbacks. I've been carrying 99.96 whatever. But if a car has 10% dents, you want to worry about it. But every new car is going to get a scratch. So you're going to get a bad feedback. You're going to get some neutrals. You can try to get them removed. If not, just move on. It's not going to kill your store, your sales. Don't get below standards. That's where you start having problems. And then it says, 16,000 sold. And then it says to visit the store. They have a button on there on the email they can click and go right to my eBay store. But I put this I customized it, and I put in there, thank you, greetings, all of us at SMPostcards, blah, 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 all the way down. And if you notice at the bottom there, I just added that probably a couple weeks ago, before that, right after that video, I think, is I said that would be a good place to put a coupon that's worth something. I see so many people send coupons out for 5%, 10%. If you want people to click on a coupon to visit you the first time, give them something worth the click. So I said I need to do 30%. So I put a coupon code here, and you can use it too. 30% off your first visit. It's a one-time use coupon in eBay that I set up, and I put it right in the newsletter. And these go out, this newsletter goes out Wednesday and Sundays. So right in there is another place you can double up, use the newsletter, and also put a coupon. So I thought I would share that. But look at below, those are my newest items in the postcards. This is from Massachusetts haul I got. Massachusetts has a sell-through rate of 4%, so they're not. I have to fight that 4%, so I have to make sure my prices are lower or being competitive. If you price your Massachusetts up and it's the normal card, you're going to get lost in the mix. So these cards here are Massachusetts. Some of them are a little older, but there's a lot of them out there on there. But this is the newsletter, so I thought I would share that with you, and I wanted to show you where I put the coupon. Has anybody used it yet? No. I'm waiting to see when they update that numbers and stuff like that, but I haven't seen anybody use it yet. But it's just something you want to take advantage of. Okay, after all that, let's get into the special topic, Lighthouse postcards. I know everybody sees them. People collect lighthouses. You see these things all over. There's ceramic lighthouses. There's big lighthouses people put in yards. There's lighthouse pictures, lighthouse postcards. You walk into an office setting, a lot of times they'll have a lighthouse. There's companies named Lighthouse. Very popular collecting. People do that. It's very popular. It's like unicorns and stuff. People get fixated on lighthouse. Of course, I didn't find anything why they put lighthouses on postcards and stuff like that, but I thought I would go out and get some facts about lighthouses. And while I walk through some of these to tell you a little bit so you can be the expert on lighthouses with all these facts I give you, I'm going to show you some postcards that I found with lighthouses on them. And there's some pretty neat ones. What is a lighthouse? Lighthouse is a tower with a bright light at the top. Located in an important or dangerous place regarding navigation, travel over water. The two main purposes of a lighthouse are to serve as navigational aid and to warn boats of dangerous areas. It is like a traffic sign on the sea. The tallest lighthouse in the world is the Jeddah Light, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It's 133 meters. Original lighthouses were lit merely with open fires, only later progressing through candles, lanterns, and electric lights. Lighthouses are painted differently to help mariners identify them during the day. For example, a lighthouse may be painted all white if its surrounding background is dark. The red and white stripes help the mariner identify the lighthouse if it's up against a white background, such as cliffs and rocks. I never really knew that. That was pretty cool to find out. The height of the lighthouse takes into account the curvature of the earth. So the higher light above mean high water, MHW, some boat speak, the further away it can be seen at sea. But the light should not be so high that local sailors will not see it. This is why you will frequently get shorter lighthouses on the top of cliffs and taller lighthouses built nearer the water's surface. So you see some big ones and you see some little ones. All lighthouses in the United States are automatic now, with the exception of the Boston Light in the Boston Harbor Islands National Recreation Area. A law was passed in 1989 requiring that the Boston Light remain manned, so a keeper remains there today. That would be a cool job. These days, lighthouses are run by machines and remote monitoring. The automatic sensors decide if there is enough moisture in the air, fog. If so, turn on the fog signals. Radio signals are used to communicate with the ships, and when the technology was not so advanced, the lighthouses were run by lighthouse keepers on there. So that was some facts about lighthouses. They're pretty neat. They've grown in technology. They said everything's automated now in the States. I think there's over 700 lighthouses in a registry that they said, 700 to 800 lighthouses in the United States. That's a lot of lighthouses. What is the sell-through rate for lighthouses? Do they really sell? Since there's a lot out there, do they really sell? The way I do sell-through rate, and I've always said it, is just a simple gauge. It's not scientific to right down to the core. I'm not looking to get an exact number by hitting completed or sold or what. When I click on sold, it automatically clicks completed and it pulls up everything. So postcard space lighthouse. Now I've seen lighthouse in 2 words, lighthouse, space house or lighthouse. I'm using lighthouse 1 word. It was more prevalent out there. So I did the search and I said postcard space lighthouse. And I clicked on sold, which clicks completed, and it just gives me a number at the top. And that number was 2,700. So there's 2,700 lighthouse postcards sold. Then I want to know how many are listed currently. I would just unclick the sold and unclick completed, and it gives me another number. Do I go in and vet all this out and make it perfect? No. I'm just looking to look for the outliers. I'm just looking for a guideline. I'm not looking for, it's not going to make a difference to me if I'm off by 0.5% either way, or 1%. It's just going to give me a guideline. So sell-through rate is sold, number of sold divided by listed times 100. And the times 100, all that does is moves the decimal, makes it look like a percent, easier to read. So here's what I come up with. Postcard space lighthouse, 1 word, 2,700 sold divided by 28,000 listed times 100, 10% sell-through rate. And there is some rounding here. I either round up or round down depending on that. So 10% sell-through rate. And you're saying, well, what does that mean? Well, you got to put it up against other postcards in the same way you're doing it. Idaho, Postcard Idaho, with 11,000 cards out there, is 9%. Nevada, 8%. California, any postcard that has California in the title, 6%. And Postcard Massachusetts is 4%. So you're working on a gauge there. 4 to 9 is about the gauge I put together from all the states and stuff. And this is 10%. So this is an above average postcard sell-through rate. Now I don't think they all sell fast or they all stuff, but you're just using this as a gauge. If you see lighthouse postcards, they are above Massachusetts. You're going to get a better chance to sell a lighthouse postcard than you will Massachusetts or a California card. So why not pick them up? That's how this can be used. Now if this was like McDonald's postcards is what, 22%, Disney 12%, and the Wiki Watching Mermaids are up in the 40s, that's what this gives you. I don't get right down to how many cards exactly, and this is going to be, it's just a guideline on the road to say, hey, when I'm looking through these white boxes, if I see lighthouses, I'm going to pick those up before I pick up Massachusetts. If I see Wiki Watching Mermaids, they're coming out on the first pass. McDonald's, Disney, those are good. That's what you want to get, is good sell-through rate postcards. And then you can mix in some Massachusetts. You got to have a good mixture of filler cards and stuff like that. But the sell-through rate on Lighthouse, anything postcards-based Lighthouse, is 10%. So it is an above average sell-through rate to what's showing on eBay with sold. Now let's take a look at some of the pricing out there that's on eBay. And I usually go through sold high, sold low, and list high and list low. Now this isn't, I'm not trying to roast any sellers here and stuff like that. I'm looking at the finished product that I'm competing with. And this is public information. So if people, I have an opinion about these, and if people disagree with those opinions, that's fine. But I'm just showing what I think of the listings. And you might see something that I don't see. Or it could be a very good listing. It's constructive criticism is all I'm trying to do here, so people get an idea how to list their cards. And some people are new here, and some people have been doing it a long time. They don't need to hear that part of it because they're good at what they do. But a lot of new people need to understand how to write a title in eBay. I'm not the best at that. And a lot of people say, how long should a title be? Should I use all 80 characters? A lot of people say yes, some people say no. My opinion is a title needs to be as long as it needs to be. I have titles out there that says Postcard House, Postcard Horse. I just don't have any information on it. Then I have some that use all 80 characters. I think that just needs to be as long as they need to be. And stuff on there. And people have different ways of doing their titles. There's no right or wrong, I want to say. You find something that works and stick with it. If it works for you, use it. But I don't get all caught up in all of that. It just needs to be as long as it needs to be for the search. Sold high and sold low. And the reason I look at the solds is just to give me an idea of what's out there. So when I'm looking through boxes and stuff and I can see, is there any really good cards? Well, this one here's $128.50. And there's some shipping on there. It's a $130 card. Sanibel Island, Florida Lighthouse Vintage Postcard. Can anybody guess why that probably sold? And that sold December 13th. It's probably unique, and didn't they have that big storm down there in Sanibel Island? Is that lighthouse still there? A little research on there. Someone did their due diligence and found it. So I've sold a lot, mostly all of my Sanibel Island cards and stuff like that. I remember when, was it Bermuda? Or one of the Caribbean islands got smacked with a hurricane a couple of years ago. Bahamas, that's what it was. All my Bahama postcards sold that next morning when the news came on, I think. I had maybe 10 in there and they just all went. So people will go searching when there's stuff going on. So $130 for that postcard. The next one, this is a kaleidoscope postcard. If you look at on the side there's wheels. And I have a video about kaleidoscope postcards. Now the biggest thing with these is you find them, they don't work. And now since eBay puts a video, lets you put a video in your listings. I've never done it. Let me know if you have. But you could actually do a video where you're turning the kaleidoscope and making sure it works. But I would say it's a 50-50 chance that they still work. They weren't made to last forever. But people with collections and stuff, it looks like this card is workable. It looks very well kept. But this is a kaleidoscope. I thought it was pretty cool. But this sold for off for $60. Probably $50 to $60 it sold for, and it's the antique rare mechanical kaleidoscope. So kaleidoscopes can be mechanical because definition for mechanical postcards is a postcard that moves, and a kaleidoscope is one that has the colors change on the wheels. So there is that crossover that you will get into the postcard types. I would call this kaleidoscope mechanical postcard. That way in your search terms you have those two key words like we were just talking about titles. And this is a pretty good title. I don't care for the antique or rare words, but it says mechanical kaleidoscope spinner Christmas lighthouse. So I think those words there would be good for search terms. I didn't think of spinner. They do call them spinners too instead of kaleidoscopes. So you want to do your research if you have a unique card like that to look at the keywords other people are using. But antique and rare and words like that I don't use. It's just what, I don't put vintage in there and stuff like that. I do put the word postcard in because that's part of search, and I use that for my reports as well. Next one is 1995, free shipping, Long Island, New York postcard. That's just a banner card of a lighthouse there for $20. Wow. Now I know there's some artists that do watercolor postcards and some artists out there. I'm not a big artist sign person, so if anybody knows any artists that are very prevalent out there and does the lighthouse postcards, put them in the comments so people can see that. But I know there's one with, I think it's black and white. They had to move on the beach. They actually moved the lighthouse because it was going to go underwater. Is one of those, and there's Hatteras, or one of the other ones that go very well for above average price on there. I'll know it when I see it. But those that are sold, so you do have some good postcards out here that sell high. Now with the sold lows, you always get these. People just put them up, they got a bunch of cards and they went out there. And I always show these because you want to be careful when you're comping postcards. You got your very high ones, and now you got your low ones. It might even be the same card. $1.25, 99 cents, and $1.25 for lighthouses. Is there anything different with these cards than what we just saw? We saw that banner card sell for $20. So a little bit of research might give you some extra money on there. But there is low ones out. They go from one extreme to the other. And every postcard I do, we see that pretty much. So be careful with comping. Are you going to go out and find a kaleidoscope postcard of a lighthouse, the exact same one today? Probably not. But you might find the banner cards and different things like that. Then we get into the listed. And I like to do listed because I want to see what people are listing things for, as well as ones that sold, what people are buying. And this comes from, one's like a buyer, from a buyer standpoint, and the other one's from a seller. This is Bayside Lighthouse Point, Sanibel Island. Another Sanibel Island, $198. I bet you if they drop that down some, that would sell. But there's really nothing going on in that picture. It's a very plain view card. That other one was, I think, was a little bit older and stuff, but it does have Sanibel Island on there. So that would be probably up a little bit because it might not be there anymore from that storm. Nature took it out. But I think it might be a little high there. Never know. But $100, $200 for a postcard, it looks like that. I would probably, if I was a buyer, I'd probably send them an offer. It says best offer, so they're going high to see what it is. I would send them an offer for a certain amount and stuff like that. So they're playing the market and seeing. Next one is the Langris Light Station Isle of Man Lighthouse Livature Mission postcard. $100. Is there something special with that one, with that name? Did they find a comp for it? Could be. I would have to go do some research and find out why that lighthouse is so important and what else is sold out there. Next one is Jupiter, which is on the east coast of Florida, Inlet Lighthouse Tower, circa 1907. $65. Probably under by the back. Is there something with the Jupiter Lighthouse? Is it still there? So you can do some research on these and see if you get some extra dollars. But you want to make sure that you vet it across what you're seeing listed and sold and get your number. And then also what you paid for it. You want to make sure you get the money back for what you paid for and time some. Then you get into the low, $1.25, 99, 44. The bottom one is pretty cool where they put the banner on the light. $4. I think maybe that's priced about right with that. The other one in the middle there, I think that's that black and white lighthouse they moved. I'm not for sure. But if you notice, as I said, they'll paint them with the stripes and stuff so people can see them. There's white ones, there's brown ones, there's the white stripes so the sailors can see those. But that's the pricing of them. Now most lighthouse postcards I sell are between $4 and $6. 90% of them I get are $4 to $6. Very, very, very few are your unique ones and stuff. But do I vet everyone? No. But if I see something with the ones I know, Now, and by doing this video, I do see some other ones. The older ones seem like they get a few extra dollars. I think I'll start looking a little deeper on some of the light. But a 10% sell-through rate, I don't think this is a postcard I would pass up as much anymore. This has opened my eyes that there might be something a little more here with Lighthouses than I thought. So 10%. Everybody knows a Lighthouse. So to sum it up, pick them up. You might get something out of them. Not top dollar. They're not also bottom dollar. I think they're going to sell a little bit faster than Massachusetts. Who knew? Now we get into the poll. I put out these polls every Saturday morning. If you're subscribed and you hit that bell icon, I think it lets you know that there's a new poll out there. And I do get a lot. I appreciate all the participation. I usually get 60 to 80 people, which gives us a good sample of what people think. This one actually came from a viewer. So if you have any questions you want me to put out there, I'll review it, and if it's good, I'll schedule it out. This one was scheduled 3 months. He sent it to me 3 months ago, and I said I'll put it into the rotation because I haven't scheduled out. I think I got them all the way to September now with questions. When I think of something or someone sent me something, I'll just go in there and schedule and put it out there. Very easy to do, and we get a lot of great information. But this person was wondering what I thought about going to antique booths and how I like to find postcards in there. Because he's setting up his booth, he wants to make sure he's doing it right, so he's asking someone. So I said, let me put it out there too, for what the other people think. When searching postcards at an antique store, do you like them in a box, a basket, an album, loose, or other? 78% said a box. Basket said 1%. And I did, here, 10% said an album. And I did do a spelling error on album. I just noticed that when I put this video together. 4% said loose, and 2% we got some comments here. 78% like them in a box. Now the baskets, yeah, I prefer them in a box. Just flip through them and stuff. Baskets, you got to take them out. They're just thrown in there and stuff like that. It's not bad probably when they put it in there, but after people go through them and stuff, they just toss them upside down and stuff like that. Where in a box, it's pretty straightforward and you can just go through them. Albums are good, but are they glued in? Can you open it up? Are they selling the whole album? A lot of questions there. And then loose, just laying all over the place. I've found some good ones loose, but I usually pass on a lot of those. They're just on the floor or whatever. But what do you like? I think most people like a box. Got some comments here on this poll. Trying to learn this said cheap. So basically he just wants them cheap. He doesn't care what I'm in. And then Keith says all above, depending on the quantity of the postcards. He doesn't care either. So these two people don't really, it doesn't matter to them. They'll stand there and go through them, which is fine. Ed Champion does not matter as long as they are well priced. Personally, in my booth, I have them in an old wooden cheese box. They are slow movers though. Yeah, because you got to remember, an antique booth is basically your local area. Our town has 32,000 people in it, and then the other villages, and then some travelers. So you might get a total population 40,000, 50,000 around here locally. Where if you put it on eBay, you got the world. So you don't want to think low. One person sent me a message a while ago and said, I'm getting bumper stickers to put on my car in my truck about my postcard store. And I'm sitting there, I asked him, I said, do you travel cross country? He goes, no, we hardly ever get out of our city. Well, you're just hitting your local area. Put it on eBay, it goes worldwide. And that's the beauty of online reselling. But yeah, that's why they're slow movers. And then the collectors, I go into an antique store, and a lot of times I will buy a lot from different sellers, and I've noticed they kept bringing them in. And there's one postcard seller, he is a little higher, but he's got to pay rent too. So I pay a little higher for those cards, but he's got them all sorted, what they are, they're neatly done. I can stand there for an hour and pick up 50 to 100 cards. And I'll spend $200, $150 or whatever for all these cards, but it didn't, and I'm cherry picking this whole thing, so he keeps bringing them in. He's got a nice rack now. If you buy from him, they'll bring more. W. Lewis 72, and plastic sleeves is even better. That way I don't don't stick together, and you can get through them much faster. Yes. Pain Ride Collectibles. My best postcard scores have been from family heirloom albums. Best yet, they were free. Yeah, you would be amazed when people find out you do postcards, what they pull out of their attics for you. Go to garage sales. Don't leave unless you ask me, you got any postcards? Yeah, I got some in the house. Yeah, I got some in the house. I got some in the attic. Hold on. What's your number? I'll call you when I pull them out. Those are cards that have never been online. Those are cards that were personally collected, selected by people. Those are some of the best cards, like he said. Those, get the albums, find smaller collections, pay up on them because you know you're going to get more. And a lot of times they're very well taken care of. Then you can sell the album a lot of times too. Rye says, for me, the type of cards and a good price are the most important. They come in any form factor. Yes. So if you're strapped for time, you want them in a box. If you got time to go through them, some people get real picky about it. Me, if I see them in a basket or a box, I'm pretty happy, but a box is what I prefer as well. So if you got an antique booth, I think this person was asking, he's setting up his booth, what would you like them in? Box would be it. That's what 78% of the people. And the second thing is an album. They don't like basket. And that's from the mass, not just my opinion. Viewer comments. These comments come from basically emails and mostly YouTube. But if you want to send me an email, my email address is changing. This is the new one, contact@SMPostcards.com. I'm going to put it right down here. That is working now, and that's what I'll be using going forward because I'm making a lot of changes this year. One of the things I needed to get rid of, something that affected my other email. But my other email I had before will not work after the end of March. So if you're sending me emails to that, I'll try to reply to you to say, hey, change over to the other one. I think I got it pretty much down to almost nothing, but we got another month or so before it goes. But I got 3 comments here. One is kind of a longer one. This is from One Old Buffalo. Mark, thanks for this video. Up until yesterday, I had my cards in the box with tabs numbered in 25s. No numbers on cards. 125 to 150, etc. I only have about 350 so far. In every order, I would look for the number by putting out that pile of 25s and go through them until I found what I was looking for. This was time consuming, and I have a thermal printer and 1 inch by 1 inch labels, and that's what I use. I use the 1 inch by 1 inch labels, and I sleeve the card and I put a number on it. That's just my way of doing it. Printed out all I needed. I think your system will save me a lot of time since I gave all my cards numbers in the listing. Continental and regular were mixed together. I now have them in different boxes. I went back into my listings and put a C before each number for the Continentals. So he's taken pieces of what I shown on the video and making it his own. He wants to separate the Continentals to standards. Some people do that. Me, I just put them the next card because standards and Continentals will fit into my white boxes. They're made for Continentals, 6x4s, and the 3.5 by 5.5 standards. But he's separating them out. So he's just basically, I replied to him, says, great, you've got a system. You're building a system. You will end up changing it probably again. It's just from experience. I did it 3 times. I say this a lot, but inventory of postcards, a lot of people when they start say, oh, I'll take care of this. All of a sudden they get 1,000 cards and they're getting defects because they can't find them. Or it's taken a half hour to look through all the cards to find them. And then you got to keep looking at the picture. That's not me. You need to be able to get to your cards, find them, and get it shipped. Time is money, but also you don't want to have the defects. So he's basically going through and getting a good system together that works for him. He will probably end up changing some pieces of it until he gets it the way he wants it. But thanks for sharing, One Old Buffalo. And while we're on this topic, I just want to show you, I did in the other videos, my wife puts my shelves up. She's great at hanging frames, shelves, and all. They're all straight and level. So she's always done that. As long as we've been married, she's always put the shelves. She even hangs the TV brackets and stuff. She's just got a knack for doing that. So she does my shelves, and we went and bought the 2 shelves that I wanted at the top, and here's what it looks like now. And if you notice, they're real close to the top because I don't need to reach in because I got to pull the box down. but that'll hold 14 boxes up there, about another 10,000 cards up at the top there. It really helps because now I have room to grow a little bit more. I probably have about 20 boxes available once I tighten them up again. I move everything to box 1 on there, but she did a great job doing those. Next thing, comment is from Chris. Ask me a question. How many times have you gone to get cards for an order and the card in the sleeve with the matching number is the wrong card? Do you usually figure it out? And how many times have you not been able to find a card in your years of doing this? I thank you. I wish you made more videos. I could watch your videos all day. First thing is, yes, it happens to everybody. You will not be able to find a card once in a while. It's happened to me. Most of the time, it's very rarely that I can't find a card. I can't think of one in the last, I don't know. I haven't had one in so long. What I do find is exactly what he's saying. The card in the sleeve with the number isn't the card. 99.9% of the time it's the one behind it or the one before it. I just grabbed the wrong number or something. As you get going, you'll do that. I'm pretty particular as I go through my little motion for each card, but you will make mistakes. You get into the same rhythm on there, but most of the time it's the one before it or one right after. So it doesn't happen that often to me because I'm used to my system. It works for me. So whatever you put together, you want to make sure it works for you, and you can find cards quickly. They don't get all over the place. If you want to make a change, it's easy to do and stuff like that. I haven't had a defect in years of not finding a card that I can't remember. Have I hunted a couple times? Yeah, I've hunted a couple times. I moved the cards through the boxes. So if a box is real loose, I'll go through and I'll start tightening all the boxes up, and I'll move them all toward number 1, and that way I have empty boxes at the end. When I did that, some cards slid underneath the other ones because the sleeves get slippery, and I was hunting for this one card and I couldn't find it, and I finally just looked in what's that on the bottom? There it was. Even my older cards, people say that eBay will list things that you don't have or you sold. I don't do cross posting on there, so I don't have that issue with that, but I haven't had that problem ever with something that's sold that was relisted that's sold. A lot of people say that it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I've never had that issue. But thanks, Chris. Then Andy Robinson says, Mark, incredible haul. This is for that Nashville 55,000 cards I got from Daniel. Good on you. To address the listing you will be doing, do you use eBay to list or are you using 6-bit for listing? Thanks for your response. That's whatever I like. I've been using the eBay templates forever. That's what I'm used to. I don't know 6-bit. I think I looked at it a couple years ago, just to look at it. I never jumped into it, but I know a lot of people are successful with it. Check out Popeye's channel. I think Kelly uses it. Marty uses it. Cameron, I think, is doing it now. So there's a lot of people that use the 6-bit software on there. I don't see a need for me because I'm pretty proficient with what I'm doing on there. There is a charge on 6-bit. I'm not worried about that. It's just, I'm just so used to doing what I've done. And if there was a huge benefit, then I think I would jump over and take a look at it more. But I think I get the same out of both of them. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good because I don't know enough of it. But what I hear, it's a pretty good application, and it works well. It does do a backup of all your listings on there. I'm not worried about the backup. If eBay lost all my listings, I have business insurance. I'd get reimbursed basically for the sales that I would lose because of their major glitches. Yeah, I have a deductible, but I'd get some money, and then you would probably see 40,000 postcard lots online, and I would just start over. I'm not that worried about that part of it on there. Yeah, there's a lot of work I lose, but for that to happen, I don't worry about things like that. Drive yourself crazy thinking about things like that. If it happens, it happens. You just move on with the next thing, stuff like that. But yeah, try 6-bit. Go use. I think Popeye's got a link for one in his videos. Go down and you can see the 6-bit. I heard their support is super. When you call them, their support is excellent. Check it out if you were looking for a different tool with that. If you want to ask me any questions how I do it, I just use eBay templates. I have pre-filled out. I have about 12 of them. One for boats, one for postcards, one for 8x10 prints, covers, and it has most of the stuff filled out. So instead of clicking 10 things, I only have to click 5. I put postcard space at the title, so I don't have to type that every time. But that's about it. And I can go through them pretty quick that way, and I'm just so used to it on there. But check it out. Now YouTube's going to show you a video that you should watch next because they think that's the best one for you. It's going to be right here. So click that, watch it, and go on to the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.